Breaking right now, an astonishing Prince Harry drug dealer claim made in the final day of evidence in the delusional Duke's disastrous case with the Daily Mail newspaper. And I have said all along, if you lie down with dogs, Harry, you get up with fleas. And that's exactly what has happened to the stupid man, the absolutely stupid man, who has allowed all of this to play out in court and allowed the private investigator, Gavin Burrows, to reveal that the only time he had ever done work for the Daily Mail in connection with Prince Harry was trying to, quote, locate his drug dealer at the nightclub China White. Now, this case has been a disaster from start to finish, but as I have always warned, Harry was relying on literal criminals, actual phone hackers. And surprise, surprise, these people are the scum of the earth. And the problem is that Gavin Burrows was the man that so much of this case relied on. And he says that his key testimony was forged. And actually, if we just look again at the signature that he said was forged of his compared to his real signature, you can see it's markedly different. And so Harry might think, oh, well, I got my day in court to say how terrible it is and how my life was ruined. But you know what else has been ruined after this, Prince Harry? Your credibility. Watch.
I've never believed that my life is open season to be commercialized by these people. To act in the public interest is to interest the public. I fundamentally reject that. Having my life, like others, commercialized in this way since I was a teenager, delving into every aspect of my private life, listening to calls, blagging flights so they could see where I was going. It was a time when everyone was in competition with each other. To sit here and go through this again, and to hear them claim in their defense that I don't have any right to privacy, is disgusting. They have made my wife's life an absolute misery, my lord.
But of course that was rubbish on a whole load of levels. And your wife, Harry, is the one who now turns up at the opening of an envelope, begging the media to take pictures of her caressing her best friend's bump. So please spare me the faux sympathy for Ms. Markle in regards to media intrusion. Now, in terms of these drug allegations, obviously you could say in some ways they are not a surprise. Prince Harry has admitted illegal drug use. Indeed, he did so in his autobiography Spare, which is one of the reasons he may actually be illegally living in the United States of America, a case that the Heritage Foundation and Niall Gardner continue to take up until this day. So I guess if someone has taken illegal drugs for a long time, the assumption would be that they did have a drug dealer. But the fact that this has been put into the public domain for the first time in a court case that can be widely disseminated and widely reported, and it also involves one of Harry's previous nightclubs, or at least a place he used to attend, is, I would argue, a massive PR own goal at the very least. So I want to take you inside the courtroom now. Tom Sykes has done some brilliant reporting about what exactly went on. And as I say, these guys are all scum. They are all scum. These are the people who tried to ruin my life on lies. But Harry, you're the one that is relying on them in a court case worth tens of millions of pounds. You're the one who has wasted judges' times and lawyers' times and media's time. Tom Sykes reports Prince Harry's media trial descended into farce today after a private investigator told the High Court that his apparent phone hacking confession had been written by a con man and said the only time he ever investigated Harry was in an attempt to find his drug dealer. In a disastrous and humiliating day for Harry's superstar barrister David Sherborne, Gavin Burrows, 55, ran rings around him and the team, bringing a privacy case against Associated Newspaper Limited. He said his own 21-page testimony dated August 2021, in which he appeared to admit unlawful information gathering on a huge scale, was a bogus from start to finish. Beamed into court from a secret overseas location because of claimed security fares, Burrows launched through his evidence in a black short-sleeved shirt, black tie, and oversized headphones, moving in his chair and waving his hands as he spoke. He openly laughed at Sherborne as he derided his supposed confession as a falsehood, a stitch-up, lies, complete and utter untruth, and a thing of fiction. He told the court, "I didn't write a statement. I don't recognize anything in the statement. You can tell it's faked. The signature is not my signature. The whole thing is a falsehood." The reversal is important, Sykes argues, because Burrows' alleged admission had been central to claims brought by Harry, Sir Elton John, Baroness Doreen Lawrence, and others. In that statement, he appeared to say he had targeted hundreds, possibly thousands of people through voicemail interception, landline tapping, and access to medical and financial material for a Mail on Sunday journalist. On Monday, he said none of it was true and named Graham Johnson, a former tabloid reporter. He is a guy who has given evidence himself and has been seen outside the court, a convicted phone hacker, by the way, as the man behind it. A member of Harry's team. Burrows called him a serial criminal and a proven con man. He said he had believed he was helping Hacked Off, the press reform group closely associated with Johnson, by giving expert background for research. Instead, he said his comments had been turned into a confession he never made. Burrows is understood to have received about $97,000 from Johnson. Johnson has denied paying anyone for legal testimony and has previously said he paid investigators and convicted hackers for time spent searching for invoices, while also trying to sign up some to write memoirs through his publishing business. Referring to the list of famous names in the statement, Burrows said, "Apart from calling me Jack the Ripper, you've put every possible name in there you could possibly think of. The man went too far. Your little creator of this has gone too far." Then Sherborne, he's the greasy lawyer with the big hair acting for Harry, tried to pin Burrows down on what he had told Johnson, describing in court as a trusted representative. Burrows answered with open hostility. "I don't think you've got a trusted representative," he said. "I've taken him to court and won. He's a proven con man. He's got multiple convictions in court, including pouring boiling water over someone's head and scarring them for life. He's a thoroughly not nice person." The hearing continued in this deranged fashion, with Burrows laughing and mocking Sherborne, telling him, "You've all been seriously misled by your own team. You need to be looking inward, not outward. I've never worked for A&L. That's the publisher of the Daily Mail. I've never received any payments from A&L. The sense of farce deepened when the judge was reduced to begging him, "Mr. Burrows, please stop." Burrows then apologised, addressing him with mock humility as "Your Worship," a title usually used for clerics. Burrows said the only work he had ever done for the Mail in connection with Prince Harry was trying to locate his drug dealer at the nightclub China White. Angela Levin is Prince Harry's biographer and our royal mastermind. Angela, absolutely astonishing scenes in court. What do you know about Prince Harry's drug use? Do you think Gavin Burrows is telling the truth about the fact that he was trying to locate Harry's drug dealer at a nightclub?
Tonight on The Crown Report, Prince Harry's high-profile legal battle with the Daily Mail reaches a tense and closely watched stage as the final day of evidence brings fresh scrutiny and intense exchanges in court. The proceedings have highlighted key disagreements over claims, reporting standards, and the broader relationship between the Duke of Sussex and sections of the British press. Observers say the atmosphere has been serious and at times dramatic, with both sides firmly defending their positions. Dan is joined by Prince Harry's biographer and royal commentator Angela Levin to break down what unfolded in court, the arguments being made, and what this pivotal moment could mean for the outcome of the case. Is this a turning point in Harry's ongoing legal fight with the media, or simply another chapter in a long-running dispute? As always, legal cases are complex and perspectives can differ, but the impact of this case could extend far beyond the courtroom. If you enjoy royal news, in-depth analysis and balanced discussion, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest updates from The Crown Report.
I don't know about him, to be honest, because when I was with him, he was charming and funny and worked hard. Just a few days out of 15 months, he was tired and a bit grumpy, but he never seemed to have drugs until he spoke to me about how he couldn't cope with the death of his mother. And that was a lot about drugs and whether he needed them and how badly he sometimes did. And then he was also very nice about William, to say that he tried to help me. He was the one who tried to get me to see someone and I refused to. And in the end, he did. And then he forgot all about thanking William after that. But it was sort of dodgy. It was never talked about. I didn't want to talk about him because I thought that put him in a very bad place and quite angry. So we talked about other things and his mother and all sorts of things, but not that. I don't know. He never seemed to be druggy with me.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Angela, he did talk about it a lot in Spare, didn't he? I've just
Yes.
been going back and looking, and he said, of course, I had been doing cocaine around this time. This is when he was 17 at someone's country house during a shooting weekend. I'd been offered a line and I'd done a few more since. It wasn't much fun and it didn't make me particularly happy, as it seemed to make everyone around me, but it did make me feel different. And that was the main goal. He described it as a social thing. He also spoke about marijuana use as a teenager as well, which had been well known. And then later, Angela, he said that he used psychedelics and magic mushrooms, saying psychedelics did me some good. I'd experimented with them over the years for fun, but now I'd begun to use them therapeutically, medicinally. They didn't simply allow me to escape reality for a while, they let me redefine reality. Under the influence of these substances, I was able to let go of rigid preconcepts to see that there was another world beyond my heavily filtered senses, a world that was equally real and doubly beautiful, a world with no red mist. He also, Angela, described a specific 2016 trip on magic mushrooms at Courtney Cox's house in Los Angeles. Now, remember, Angela, that was illegal at the time in Los Angeles. He's also spoken about the fact that he used drink and drugs to cope in the 2021 Oprah Winfrey series, The Me You Can't See. He said, I was willing to drink, I was willing to take drugs, I was willing to do the things that made me feel less like I was feeling. And then, of course, he also admitted to using drugs in the 60 Minutes interview with Anderson Cooper in 2023. He said it was because of the anger he said had inside of him, although on psychedelics, Angela, which remember are illegal in most parts of the world, he said doing it with the right people